Okay, so now we've finished the content on overpopulation. We need to go through all of the exam questions. So you need to open up your booklet on page 69. I'm going to go through a suggested approach for each one of these, what case studies you should use, etc., because these can be kind of complicated. And you need to take these down into your notes, regardless of whether they're higher level or ordinary level. I want you to take them all down anyway. It will help with question interpretation. Okay. The first thing I want you to do on page 69 is just make a note to yourself that there was no overpopulation question in 2020, and that's what makes this such an important topic, because if you scroll down there, we had 2019, 2017, 16, 15, 13. So it's a question that comes up really, really frequently, and the reason for that is that they can ask it in many different shapes and sizes without having to repeat themselves. I again would expect this to make an appearance this year. Right, so first one there, higher level 2019, describe and explain the causes of overpopulation. Now, it doesn't explicitly say it there, but you have to describe and explain the causes based on your case studies. And really important to note, it's causes plural. So it's these types of things you need to pay attention to in the questions. So if you look at the causes, so start with the causes and then build in your case studies. So one of the causes of overpopulation is population growth. This can be through high birth rates as seen in the Sahel, and then you explain that, or population growth can occur as a result of in-migration as seen in Sao Paulo. Second main cause of overpopulation is because of resource depletion, and that's seen in the RLC. But before you do any of this, what should you do? You should define overpopulation. So for the start of any of these essays, you need to put in an explanation of what overpopulation is. Okay? Now, there's something else occurred to me there and I'm after forgetting about it. Oh yeah. So you're just discussing the causes. No effects, no solutions. You won't get any marks to them. They're not relevant. So literally, why are there high birth rates in the Sahel? Why is there in-migration into Sao Paulo? What happened to deplete the RLC? Alright, and this is why at higher level you need all three case studies. Now, you could use, instead of the RLC, you could as well use the Sahel here because there is resource depletion. Personally, I think it's easier to discuss resource depletion for the RLC. Alright, so you would need a 13 mark question. You would need to discuss 5 SRPs on high birth rates, 5 on in-migration, and 5 on resource depletion in the RLC. When you break it down like that, it's really not a difficult question. Right, the next one there then, higher level 2017. Examine the impact of any one of the following factors on population growth with reference to example or examples that you have studied. Okay. Now, this question does not mention overpopulation, but I'm just bringing it up to let you see that you can use the case studies in other aspects. And in fact, we already did this question and I gave you a sample answer on it for technology. And I'd say some of you are listening to me here going, no clue, never heard of that. Well, you need to go back and check the posts because there is a sample answer there. But you could answer on this and use overpopulation, because one of the reasons why overpopulation happens is because of overuse of resources, all right, and depletion of resources. And what impact does that have on population growth? Population will go into decline. So if you word this properly, you can use your overpopulation case studies. So you could start off by saying that the depletion or the use or the overexploitation of a resource can result in overpopulation, and this can cause population decline in a region. Okay, so you're saying what impact depletion of resources has on the population. So depletion has the impact of population decline. This can be seen in, so where can you best see the impact that a depletion of a resource has in a region? You can see it in the Sahel. Jeez, I can't remember if I actually wrote down here. So I'll get rid of my scribbles. So this can be seen in the Sahel and in the Aral Sea. All right, now you're given the option of plural here, so you could just get away with discussing the Aral Sea. And it's probably easier to do because the population in the Aral Sea declined. So they basically all left and out-migrated as a result of this. But look, this is just showing you that you can use your case studies here to answer a different type of question, not necessarily overpopulation. And strictly speaking, I've told you to use technology to answer this question. Oh, right, yeah. So this can be seen in the Aral Sea, where the population declined. It can also be seen in the Sahel, where famine resulted in higher death rates. But the complication with the Sahel is that high birth rates probably cancel that out. But look, anyway, we don't get our knickers in a twist about this. Right, ordinary level 2016. First of all, you must use the numbering system in your answer, okay? So, number one, you've got to give 2 SRPs on overpopulation. So for any of these questions, for every single level, you need to be able to define population. Secondly, describe and explain the causes and effects. Really importantly there, causes plural, effects plural of overpopulation with reference to example or examples that you've studied. Okay? Right, causes are high birth rate and resource depletion. I think they're the easiest ones to discuss. The effect is famine. Another cause is in migration. The effect favelas. Sorry, I went through that very quickly. Let's just go back here. So one cause, so this is in the Sahel. Okay, so to frame this question, you might say, well, one example I've studied, the Sahel. The causes of overpopulation are high birth rates and resource depletion. Explain that. And one effect there is famine. In another area I've studied, the cause is in migration and the effect is favelas, and that is the Sao Paulo case study. Okay, now if you're doing both of them, I would leave out resource depletion in the Sahel because that's probably the most difficult one to do. So if you just had high birth rates and famine in the Sahel combined with in-migration and favelas in Sao Paulo, that would be more than enough to answer that. It's only a 30-mark question. High level 2015. Describe and explain the causes, plural, and effects, plural, of overpopulation with reference to examples, plural, you've studied. So causes. So here's all of our case studies. Now, I would say to you, do the Sahel and then choose one of these. Okay, you will have more than enough in 2 case studies. So do the Sahel and then choose either Sao Paulo or the Aral Sea. All right. Or if you wanted to do the 3 of them, so if 3, then leave out resource depletion in the Sahel because you have more than enough in resource depletion in the Aral Sea. Okay, so there's a couple of different ways you can approach these. Again, this is an example. Sorry, can I just say as well, you always start with define overpopulation. All of these, even if I forget to say it, always start with a definition of overpopulation. All right, so everybody needs that. Again, here, this is an example of where the question doesn't explicitly mention overpopulation, but it does refer to it. So how the development of resources impacts on population change. So here, we're going to talk about the development of resources as being the depletion or exploitation of resources. Okay, so the depletion of resource can result in overpopulation and cause population decline in a region. This can be seen in the Aral Sea and the Sahel. So similar to the question that we had earlier. And again, paying attention to the fact that it asks you for examples, plural, so you've got to have more than one. Ordinary level 2014, this one wants a cause, a problem and a solution. But yeah, I'll have to start by naming the region. So you've got to make sure you choose the right region at the start in order to tick all of these boxes. Okay, you could go with the Sahel. So this is option A. Okay, so you could go with the region I have studied as the Sahel. The cause, there's just one cause here, okay? So we're just discussing high birth rates. Is high birth rates leading to population growth? The problems, plural, okay? So the problems could be desertification, and lack of food, or food shortages, or starvation, or famine, etc. Okay, and then just one solution. Okay, so sorry, that should just be one solution. So if you've gone with that, then your one solution could be education of women. It could also be, well, you'd probably have to go with education there rather than the things. Right, option B would be Sao Paulo. So the region I've studied is Sao Paulo, and I'm sticking with Sao Paulo, not the RLC, because if ordinary level, if you glance back over this afterwards, you'll realise that you don't have to use the RLC at all. The cause is population growth due to in-migration. The problems then are the favelas, so you describe the problems in the favelas, and the solution then, are the self-help schemes and upgrading favelas. Now, I actually think that the easier one to do here would be option B. All right. Here we doing. So we're on page 70 now, aren't we? Ordinary level 2011. Again, define population, overpopulation here, even if it doesn't ask you. So, meaning of overpopulation, 2 SRPs, describe in detail 2 problems in any one region. One region, okay? You don't have to discuss the causes. The region is the Sahel. The problems could be desertification and the destruction of soil. And the second problem, starvation and famine. And I think that's a better one to do here. I don't think you get enough SRPs on whatchamacallit, Sao Paulo. Alright. Higher level 2012. Discuss the causes of overpopulation, referring to exam polls. So causes on exam polls, very important. Start by define overpopulation in at least 2 SRPs. Okay, causes plural, population growth because of high birth rate is one cause. Your example is the Sahel. Second cause, population growth because of immigration. Explain what happened in Sao Paulo. And the third cause is resource depletion. You can either stick with the Sahel and explain how the resource was depleted there, or you can move on to the RLC. Alright. Okay, I think this is the last one we're going to take a look at. So again, making sure that your answer mirrors the question here. So some parts of the world are overpopulated. Overpopulation occurs when there's too many people in a region relative to the resources available to provide an adequate standard of living. So here they give you the definition. Right, so name any one region of the world, the Sahel. Describe in detail one cause, population growth due to high birth rates, the problems, solutions. Sorry, it's just one solution. I went a bit nuts there. So one cause, one problem, one solution. And then your other option is Sao Paulo. And again, I actually think Sao Paulo might be the easier one to do here. Okay, so I would go with that one. I don't think I went any further back. No. So these are the essays I want you to do. Higher level on page 69, you're doing 2019 and 2015. Ordinary level on page 69, you're doing 2016, and on page 70, you're doing 2014. Ordinary level, I'm going to do an essay guide for you for both of these, so that will be posted as well. Right, these are really, really, really important essays. Look, I'm not giving you essays at the moment unless they're important. So you are not getting any work at all unless I deem it to be very important. I'm not going to waste your time or my time correcting it. So I think this topic will probably make an appearance this year. Yeah, you need to know it and do the essays. Right, that is over now from me. Oh my god, I'm wrecked. I've just done 5 videos in a row. Goodbye.